December 18th, 2022, time index in the frozen tundra of Roseman, California at 7:51 in the morning. And right now, I have to make another clarification concerning about the video I am posting on my YouTube right now, stating that I am apologetic and I am sorry. I didn't say I was sorry. The lack of research or the intensity of research that should have been done on the main article. I kept digging around, I still couldn't find what I was looking for. But it was mentioned in there in the LA Times article, May 7th, 2022, by Steve Lopez, about Mayor Bass's plans on invading the Antelope Valley, in a way of saying it's Palmdale, because Palmdale's got all that space. And I tried to make clarification on and it just didn't work out. It really didn't. And I'm having an issue over it. No, because the thing is, what I'm having an issue right now with is it's not making the apologies. I've made a lot of mistakes, and I apologize for them, and I have to make amends for that. Clarifications, and not to mention verbal attacks on both Bass, Lopez, Paris, and a few others out there that I may have hurt. I'm trying to say that. I'm still apologetic to it. And on my part for doing the attack. Lack of research on the situation there, that I've got a mayor going to be invading Antelope Valley, which caused Mayor Paris of Lancaster to have a conniption fit and declare a state of emergency within the city of Lancaster over potential actions coming from county and city of Los Angeles, my birthplace. I have to support Mayor Paris on this. As much as I despise the guy and don't like him and never have. The guy's got he's got a nasty reputation on the streets among the homeless populations of what kind of a lousy mayor he is and how he's been attacking them left and right. But Paris doesn't want anything happening to the fair citizens of Lancaster, but let alone the Antelope Valley, because anything that happens to Palmdale or Little Rock or even Lake Los Angeles, let alone Aqua Dulce, anything of those kind of areas that happen to include homeless populations, they'll bleed over into Lancaster, because Lancaster's got more facilities purported to assist the homeless. They've got the GR office on Division. Close to it anyway. It's between H6 and H8. I'm sorry. That was supposed to be K8 and K6 areas, that they got the GR sections over there for the county of Los Angeles being represented over there. Surprisingly enough, it's not full of homeless, it's just full of people trying to get food stamps and cash aid. Everyone else is hanging around Yucca Avenue, there and I and 10th, and spread throughout the city of Lancaster. From the well-to-do all the way to the busiest areas, including what they call the Boulevard, sandwiched between 10th Street West and Sierra Highway. And there's a lot of homeless populations. You have a county building over there that they use for a hangout and quiet place to sit and rest, and some people actually use county property to sleep on. So I'm sometimes during the daytime, sometimes at night. And at night, it's getting so cold out there that they have to huddle up in different communities out there, tent communities. And some of those communities are right by railroad tracks. They're constantly getting pushed off left and right. See, Lancaster doesn't like seeing those kind of communities. They push them over to the communities, actually to the areas beyond F Avenue. Actually, Avenue F. Right by Fox Field, the absolute limits of the city of Lancaster. Now they're dealing with the county of Los Angeles. Wide stretch of desert region out there that almost would probably have to be pushed into, and then harangued again by county of Los Angeles being so kind and charitable because they don't want to see the body counts rising. The stories I've heard throughout the years. Excuse me, one quick second. So imagine the Antelope Valley's frustration right now, the administrations in Palmdale, not to mention Lancaster, have had to deal with the homeless populations. How many times have they contacted the county of Los Angeles, either for assistance or tell them to get off their damn backs, which was usually posted in social media like crazy, on Twitter and Facebook and a few other platforms out there. And talked about them among some of the homeless populations in food giveaway places and resource centers. But among the general population, you never even hear it because the rest of the population is like NIMBYs at this point. So when Mayor Bass of the City of Los Angeles had indicated to the LA Times reporter that she'd like to use Palmdale, I'm surprised that the other networks didn't pick up on it. Not the local and not the national. And it sure as hell ain't the in-between, which was the cable network. They didn't pick up on it. They never even posted it online. Neither had the major networks during that time. Otherwise, a Google search would have given me a little bit more information, not to mention a YouTube search. All they talked about certain plans that she was trying to have. But when it came down for saying specific Palmdale, I don't think Bass has really understood the situation. Being a congresswoman and then trying to be a councilwoman, I don't think she's ever considered the grasp of what she's talking about. And yes, I challenged her on this one. I'm still challenging her on this one. Because I doubt she's actually looked at the situations, or she's looked at City of Los Angeles when she was trying to look for viable areas outside. County Board of Supervisors really had to look at the different areas what we're dealing with. There's been a constant political brawl between the County of Los Angeles and the City of Lancaster for about a decade and a half. I moved out here with my family back in 2005 because we couldn't find available cheap housing in the San Fernando Valley. And we liked living in the valley because we lived there most of our lives. Most of my life anyway. So we moved out here to the Antelope Valley under a whim of another so-called friend who trapped us in a place going through foreclosure. After a couple of misadventures, we wound ourselves into an apartment complex and died. 5 years lived there until our matriarch passed away, and my brother and I were forced to move over to Rosemont because, again, housing situation in Lancaster and Palmdale sucked. Once again. So we found ourselves out here in Rosemont and had ourselves misadventures left and right. Got into an apartment here in Rosemont, right by the base of Edwards Air Force Base. My brother lived here about 3 years before he passed away, and I took over. And I'm still having misadventures in this place. But I guess you have misadventures all over the place. But keep this in mind that Kern and LA County are kissing cousins. And the city of Rosebud is stuck right in it, right in the edge, right in the border towns. We get the bleed over. We get the effects from Palmdale and Lancaster coming into our fair city, to where we're getting more and more encampments happening in our desert regions, surrounding and in between the housing units. But we don't have sufficient enough resources out here to deal with the housing, let alone dealing with low income. And we sure as hell don't have the law enforcement necessary, if any. Oh, but we have about one fire station handling 30,000 people out here in Roseburg. But the remarks I was making at this point, they were panicking over Lancaster and Palmdale, and the semantics were getting argued over left and right. To where I was challenging the writer and a few other places, not to mention people picking up on the articles and saying, "Why don't you let me do your damn homework for you?" AV Press, I apologize to. Los Angeles Times, to Steve Lopez, I apologize to. On his review. I'm not apologizing to the City of Los Angeles, because they still have no clue and no way of how to handle homeless populations within their borders, but they're not shoving it over to the Antelope Valley. We got enough with ours as it is. I used to be among the population. I was fortunate enough that I had friends helping me out, me and my brother. Upon moving over to Rosebud after our mother's death back in 2013, we had an unscrupulous leasing agent and a park manager who got us a trailer home, and somehow started scamming us left and right. We couldn't fight it in court. We lost the place. We had bad options given to us, and we took a rotten option, which forced us out of the home into about a month-long homelessness situation, living on the streets. But thank God we actually had friends putting us into a motel room for a month. We had Salvation at the time, Mojave when they were still active, and a veterans group working with us to get home. The apartment I'm in right now as it is. We haven't seen anything crawling around. It's not visual effects. It is a bug war. So, situation. If Mayor Bass of City of Los Angeles is proposing to shove 15,000 or even a portion of it to Antelope Valley through the county of Los Angeles, she is making more enemy and political side than she has. Because I got a feeling that our Mayor Hoffman of Palmdale and Mayor Paris of Lancaster is not going to have any of it. We're not going to be warm and welcoming, because they're definitely not warm and welcoming to the homeless population over here, let alone dealing with anybody else coming from down below. You know, when in the past, what the hell was it, about 10 years living in Palmdale and Lancaster, I'd heard stories coming from people and other sources concerning about how both mayors didn't exactly treat the homeless populations very well. It's like a NIMBY land out here. Go into the food giveaways, you go into the county GR, you hear from the people going in and out of the programs, you hear that in the streets. They had a constant fight with the county of Los Angeles concerning about increasing the density population of homelessness out here in Antelope Valley, because there was no other place for Los Angeles city of or county of to shove them at. there are stories about the homeless population going on Metrolink trains and being shoved out the door, and here we are in Palmdale or Lancaster. Now you got to struggle. Were the stories substantiated? I know there was a lot of anger among the communities throughout the years. It's still there. It's still there. And judging from the reaction of Mayor Paris, Lancaster, yes, I'm saying the names over and over again, including the cities, if you understand. This is an entire community out here in Antelope Valley, stretching all the way to the hillsides of both San Gabriel, stretching it all the way over to the Kern County border and beyond that. Because whatever happens down below, being shoved into the Antelope Valley, is going to be affecting every one of us, including this town called Roseman. I said before, we don't have law enforcement out here. We're borrowing it from Mojave. We don't have a substation because our sheriff and the county board of supervisors in Kern County hasn't been deemed necessary for us to have one. Otherwise, they'd have one built already. They said, no, this room's too big, this too small, too small, too small, too small. They had one facility that got turned into a pot farm, and they lost it. Twits. Should have took it back by eminent domain and used it again, but they didn't. It was on the outskirts, but still we had a responding unit. Responding units. We also had a little bit of a jail. Transfer point between here and Mojave. We don't even have that. We have to borrow help from the California Highway Patrol for Mojave Station. And sometimes we had to borrow it from Lancaster on the outskirts on I, the freeway of 14. I read, I talk to people in this town. Despite the political besides the political differences left and right, I'm still keeping an ear to this town of what's going on. We're getting more crime happening in this town than the town people can actually deal with. We have people forcing issues that they don't like to deal with right now. And for me to send this video out, cold weather's affected me a bit out here in Lancaster and out here in Roseman right now. Getting antsy about things in this place. No, I had to talk about my angry video. I had to talk about what I was saying to them in letters, and probably will bury me alive with the legal thing of why did I make references and links to a newspaper article in the LA Times, because I needed to back it up originally for the story. And during that time, while I was making my erroneous accusations and suppositions, a friend of mine was saying, did you actually read the material? I can't remember, I guess I did. But I didn't see what I was looking for. Not several times over glancing over the damn thing until I did final glance last night. And then I saw it. And then I saw the thermonuclear. So yes, to a lot of people, I am apologizing. I'm trying to make amends right over here and making explanations. But I still have to make amends because I'm the one trying to sully up characters, and characters do count. Even though I may have a different opinion about the situation, they still matter. It's still people's character. I just go after the issues. I don't go after the person's character. And the issues are, we got enough erroneous information being passed over left and right. When interviewed in a public forum, ABC News was trying to dispel, and neither had the other major local networks out here in Los Angeles. And I tried to dispel that there was any actions going to be taken against Lancaster. But she never did mention about Palmville when she was quoted in that Los Angeles Times article. Pointed out in the local papers out here, and not to mention back in Los Angeles Times. So I'm wondering, why am I apologizing for? Assassinating characters is one thing, but getting to the truth and apologizing